All right, I am back with another video with the CZ P10C. Now, there's a couple of new upgrades on this thing I want to talk to you guys about, but first, I want to thank Optic Planet for sending out this Holosun 507 comp. Now, the 507 comp is one of my more favorite optics to use right now. It's got a big window, multi-reticle system. It's working real well on my M&P 2.0 competitor, so why not put one on the CZ P10C? Of course, if you're going to buy something from Optic Planet, make sure to use 360TS at checkout so you can save a buck or two. Now, the CZ P10C mounting system does, of course, require an adapter plate for your optics. So I've got the C&H Precision plate on here. You guessed it, 360TS for a discount at C&H. I really like the plates from C&H. I am using them on this gun. I'm using them on two different M&Ps. I'm using one on one of my Hellcat Pros. Look, I've got a bunch of the C&H plates. They're working well on all the guns that I have that require a plate. Go ahead and check them out for all of your adapter plate needs. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank Apex for being so supportive of everything that I do here at 360 Tactical Solutions. If you need anything from triggers, mag releases, extended slide stops, any various pieces and parts, or potentially some sick-ass nunchucks, go check out Apex 360TS at checkout and get some of the best quality parts that are available on the market. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk about the new upgrades to the P10C. Now, obviously, I'm using my TLR1 HL. I do love the Streamlight. It's a little bit oversized for the P10C, but you know what? I went with the Holosun 507 comp because it is massive and obnoxious on a 4-inch gun. So why not put a big ass light on it as well? The first thing that I actually changed on the P10C was the mag release. So I went with the extended mag release from Apex. I like extended controls. What can I say? The texture on this mag release is great. I think it's much better than what CZ originally put on this gun. Now, the original mag release wasn't horrible, but the Apex is definitely better. One of the only real complaints about this gun that I had right out of the gate was the slide stop / slide release. It is super flat, it's low profile, and that's great for like concealed carry use. A lot of people are not going to agree with me on this, but I didn't necessarily like it. I don't think there was a lot of mechanical advantage when using it. Of course, I did break the gun in. I probably put 1,500 rounds through this before I made any modifications. Even after 1,500 rounds, that slide stop, slide release was still stiff as hell. And that's fine. That's not a huge deal. But it's so flat and so close up to the gun that when the slide would lock back, I would have a hard time manipulating it. Now, right now would be a good time to point out that with the way that I grip my guns, probably 9 times out of 10, the slide won't lock back anyways because my thumb is stationed right on top of that slide release and I am putting so much pressure on, it just doesn't have a chance to engage. That was something that I was having happen with the stock slide release. Most of the time, it wouldn't lock back at all. So why not put an extended slide release on there that actually gives me a little bit of a thumb ledge to use? This one from Apex works really well. It's not overly bulky. It doesn't really make the gun too much bigger, but it gives me a little bit of a shelf to put my thumb while I'm shooting. Now, obviously, I'm using that as a thumb ledge, so the slide is never going to lock back because I'm putting pressure on it as I'm shooting. To me, that's not a big deal. When I'm training, when I'm practicing, I essentially expect that the slide isn't going to lock back. So after I swap mags, I just go ahead and rack it. I get that question all the time. It is all about my grip, and it happens with pretty much all of my guns. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. To me, my grip is more important. Having more control over the gun is more important. Now, I get that with this extended control from Apex. One of the things I'm probably going to get a bunch of hate from CZ fans for is Apex trigger. Now, let's preface this by letting you know that I think the CZ P10C has one of the best stock triggers of any striker-fired gun that's out there. I think that it's better than a Canic. It's certainly better than any Glock or even the new flat-faced M&P triggers. But everything out there can always be made better. After all, this channel is about testing and reviewing different parts and firearms. So I had to go ahead and install the Apex so that I could see if it is an improvement over the stock trigger. So far, I think it's doing pretty well. The Apex trigger has two different configurations that you can go ahead and install it. One is going to be more of a competition style trigger that is going to be much lighter than the stock trigger. But my problem with that configuration is that you no longer have this solid wall before the trigger break. With that configuration, it's actually more of a rolling break than a solid wall, regardless of whether it's competition shooting or as a range gun or a self-defense gun, whatever the case may be. I like a good solid wall. So I went with option B. Option B, as far as the installation of the Apex trigger goes, is lighter than what the stock trigger is, but not quite as light as the competition setup. With that configuration, you retain the nice, strong, solid wall. It's crisp, it's clean, the reset is great. Everything about it is better than what the stock trigger is. And that's saying something because the stock trigger is pretty damn good. I'll go ahead and put some numbers up here somewhere as far as what the 3 different variants are with trigger weight. But as far as the feel of this trigger, I think it's great. All right, so let's recap. Right now, as of right now, I have like 800 or so rounds on this configuration with the Apex trigger and the Holosun and the, all the new parts. Going strong. Really enjoying the way that it is set up right now. I think all of these upgraded parts work really well. As far as an extended mag release goes, I know that's not going to be for everybody. And there are certainly situations where an extended mag release could be detrimental. The thing about the mag release for the CZ P10C is that it is very stiff. And even with the extended controls, I don't see there being many situations where you're going to accidentally release your mag. As far as the slide release / slide stop goes, I know a lot of people aren't going to like the extended controls. Because they're not going to be using it the same way I do as a thumb ledge. But using it as a thumb ledge, you get quite a bit more, leverage and positive contact on the firearm, which helps with recoil mitigation. Not that it has a lot to begin with, but every little bit helps. The trigger. I really like the Apex trigger over the stock trigger. Customization of your firearms is weird because everybody's different. My opinion is my opinion. And all of the things that we do with our firearms are going to be like that. They may work well for me. They may not work well for you. The whole point of this is just to give you my experience while using them. Now, a bone stock CZ P10C is a fine firearm. A CZ P10C with all the Apex parts and the massive 507 comp and TLR1 HL, to me, so far this is shaping up very nicely. Next, though, I think we need to look at mag wells and mag extensions. So who knows, perhaps we will do another video with the CZ P10C in the very near future. Till then, though, you guys stay safe, get some range time, and enjoy yourselves out there.